What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be doing kind of like a vlog day. I've got a couple of things that I need to buy for the garden. I actually had some plants that just didn't sprout too well this year. So our peas are one of them. So we've got to fill in some of that. And then we're also going to get probably a couple of different perennials. We are here at Concordia University. They have their Ozaukee County Master Gardener Sale today. So we are going to go check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll take a shot of all the different plants, all the different stuff. I've never been to this before, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. The Siberian bug loss. We've got a few of these in the house. One thing I will be looking for particularly is Ligularia. All right, so note to self, I have to get here a lot earlier than I did this year next time, because by the time I got in there, a lot of the tables were empty. There was probably about maybe 30% of the tables left that were, you could tell that they had plants sold out of all of the other tables. But this is what I made out with. I've got some Monkshood here. I've been looking to add this to my collection for a while. I just haven't found it anywhere ever since last year. This kind of gives like the same type of a look as like a foxglove would. Then I got a bunch of milkweed, a couple of different varieties. We've got a swamp milkweed, which is the typical pink flower, and then we've got this milkweed as well, which is going to give us these beautiful yellow flowers. This is butterfly flower milkweed. And I've got some Viola tricolor, so Johnny Jump Up. This kind of puts up like, they look like violet flowers, like wood violets. And these do spread pretty good, so I should be able to divide them up and then spread them throughout the backyard. And also I got some Bergenias. Well, I don't know, why are they so confusing? So this is called winter glut. This kind of gets really dark foliage and reddish flowers. It kind of looks like, it resembles like Ligularia, which is what I really wanted, so that's why I settled with this. All in all, happy with it. Had some good conversations with the people in there on growing and their passions and everything, so maybe we'll do some videos in the future with them. But for now, I got to get going. I've got to find some peas still. We are on the expedition to find some peas today. Okay, so I couldn't find peas really anywhere, at least like growing starter plants. I went to a couple of different greenhouses and even checked Home Depot. So what I ended up doing, even though we are late here in the garden for the peas, which was like my mission of the day, we just had to buy some seeds. So we do have a couple of plants popping up in the garden bed right now. There is, I think there's four pea plants right now in the bed that are growing. So those will at least get us our normal harvest for, earlier on. But the only thing that I'm concerned about right now is the fact that peas are heat sensitive, so they're not going to do the best, being that they are so late. So kids might be a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed that the seeds didn't germinate for whatever reason. Sometimes things happen in the garden, I guess. But see, there's got that one growing here as well, and here we actually had a ton of lettuce that reseeded itself from last year, so that's pretty cool. I'll kind of just pick that off, and as weeding, I will pick these out and eat them and harvest them. And as you notice, I do have a lot of weeds in our garden beds. This kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I do make sure though that I pick these weeds before they get too big or before they're interrupting the growth of any other plants that I have growing in the area. So like this one here, Oh, well, didn't pick the root. You just really got to make sure you take out the weeds before they start seeding or before they start spreading. Besides that, you know, they are essentially part of what keeps our soil alive and healthy, in my opinion. And there's no reason to stress out over having a couple of weeds in the garden bed here and there. Now, being that we grow in raised garden beds, it is going to be a little bit different than if we were growing right in the soil, because I can amend this stuff very easily. I can produce the type of soil that I want to grow my vegetables in as well. So overall, it's a lot easier to maintain, and I can also pull these weeds very easy because the soil is such high quality, and we've created a really high quality soil in here. So I'm just really trying not to stress out over it. This stuff is the worst. This is like a Canadian thistle or something like that. But as you can tell, look at that right there. Full root just coming right out of the soil. That is because we have high quality soil here. If I was growing right into the native soil, it would be a lot harder to do that. And in fact, you know, most of the time you would have it break right off and that root stock would still be in the ground. It would sprout right up. But because we are growing in these raised beds, it's really not as much of an issue. So that makes it very, very easy on us. So right now, I think that I'm gonna find a spot for the Monkshood and then Milkweed. Those have really got to be full sun. So the Milkweed, I think we're gonna put over here, right in between our willow tree and our wine sap apple tree. We're gonna put that right in here. So we're gonna fill in this little space right there with them. This willow tree doesn't cast too much shade. This direction is east, so the sun rises up and over. So really these things will get full sun throughout most of the day, right in the middle there between these two trees. Little update, I did just plant one, two, three, I think six, seven, yeah, 7 dahlias back here. We're actually part of a little competition, a dahlia growing competition. This competition was pretty cool. He was a local gardener who grew these dahlias from seed. And if you don't know, when you grow dahlias from seed, they're not going to be true to form. So they're going to create all sorts of different types of flowers this way. So the competition is basically seeing whose dahlia happens to be the most beautiful, most color, most vibrant dahlia. And then also there is a reward prize for the ugliest dahlia also. So we'll see what our results end up being. We will talk more about dahlias in a future video. I'm gonna show you how to pinch off your dahlias. But something else that we added in the garden recently was a few more of our willow tree cuttings. This is an area that is getting established right now. We're working out all of the different layouts and everything. This used to be our squash patch, but I think we're going to turn it into a perennial flower patch. And we've got some willow trees. I got a curly willow there, curly willow, and then over here we have a weeping willow. And so that's going to kind of form this edge of the area. I am going to be pruning those, trimming them more of like a bonsai type. And then inside, eventually, we're going to find some sort of formation for all of our perennial flowers in there. As you can tell, a lot of these dandelions started to seed, and you might be wondering, like, why am I not mowing all of those down? Well, if we go back over here, we can probably find some bees. Right there, beautiful honeybee. And then there's a bunch of dandelions back over there as well. Hey ladies. And we also have wood violets popping up all over the place and a couple of other wild flowers as well. So these are the wood violets all over. And so what I kind of do is like a selective management system with these weeds. I keep the ones that I want and keep the ones that are going to be beneficial, and then pull out the other ones that we don't want in the garden. All of these over here, this is wild lettuce. So wild lettuce, I will probably, I take a lot of this and give this to the chickens, but I'll kind of let it grow right now because it's creating, we have really nasty soil throughout this whole area right here. So I'll let it grow because it's rejuvenating the soil, it's building the soil. But I will make sure that I pick this wild lettuce before it goes to seed because like you can tell, all over here, I had one of them go to seed last year, actually probably a couple of them, which is why we have all of these tiny little seedlings all over the place for those. But those, you know, like I said, it's not really a problem because it's building the soil. I just need to make sure that I pull it before they reproduce and spread in the yard more. And to be honest, the way it works is if you have an area of your yard in which you're mowing constantly, everything else is going to eventually phase out of that area. Of course, you got spring dandelions that always come in no matter what you do, but then that space will fill in with grass wherever you're mowing. This other stuff, the violets, the sorrels, any kind of weed, what you would say grows in the backyard, is not going to be present in an area where you mow. So all of these other areas, basically this entire path back here, from this front portion on back towards the fence, all along back over here, and then all back there, we are just letting that go. Eventually we're going to try and seed some wildflowers in here, but the problem is that this area kind of floods a little bit when we get a ton of rain. So maybe I can try and grow like marsh marigolds or some sort of native that will grow in a really wet environment. So this is all just kind of like a little project area. All of the rest of the yard we'll mow and we've got grass there. But I'm trying to utilize as much space as I can to create life in the backyard here because we only got 0.34 acres. But I'll tell you what, we can do a lot with that 0.34 acres. Our fruit trees are doing good, again, providing the pollinators with nectar. I don't know if they're going to produce fruit yet this year. It might be a little bit too early, but I just have to admire the wine sap apple trees, flowers that it's putting off for us. They are gorgeous. The whole backyard is doing very well. I'll probably do a backyard garden tour for you all in the near future. I got to get to planting these plants in the backyard. I've got to get to planting everything that we bought today, so I want to thank you all so much for tuning into the channel. I will see you in the next video.